Action.
Hey, how we doing today? Dan down here at Wilkins. We are going to install a Screaming Eagle ventilator air cleaner kit on a 2020 Sport Glide. So on a soft tail. I'll go over some things that we need to pay attention to as we're installing it, things to watch out for, and stuff like that. Any air cleaner kit you get is going to come with directions that you can follow down through. First step is to remove the main fuse. So on soft tails, on twin cam soft tails, it'll be under your seat. You'll have to pull the seat off. For the M8 soft tails, it's on the side cover. Just a 5/32 Allen. Always have protective stuff down for when you're setting your tools or covers. That's held with one screw, and then it's got two rubber grommets that sit in. Comes off, you can set that down. Little dragonfly if you run over. And kind of look, so this will have your pigtail on this side. That'll be down, you can get to some fuses. Your main fuse has the 4 red wires. You just slide back and out. And then there's clips on each side. You pull that out, and you can pull your main fuse. Now the bike's dead, it won't start up on you while you're trying to go over. And as you're doing stuff, it's your bike. If you're doing this at home by yourself, you might not have a lift or stuff, but so yeah, if you're doing this on your own bike at home, as you're walking around it, you might not have a lift, but even if it's on the ground, or you get a little wheel cart or something, but put your hands on stuff. Nothing should move. Make sure everything feels good. Check different stuff. Things rattling. If you got lubricant, you can lube pivot points as you're doing, do it. Walk around on your bike. Become familiar with your bike. So, this is the stock air cleaner on this Sport Glide. T20 stuff, so it should come out pretty easy. And again, have a place to put your tools. Any screws, make sure you count, don't lose anything. If you're doing this at home, try not to have a hot bike because that exhaust will be hot. And burn your fingers. I like to leave, so I'll get all the bottom screws, I'll leave a top one, so that way nothing's going to fall. And that should be the same, say you just had a stock and you just wanted to check your air filter. So for this particular model, you just take this cover off and it should give you access to your filter to clean it or replace it. So we're going to be replacing all this, but if you were going to set this down, so have a rag. I like to set it, shiny side down on something. So that way if something falls, it's going to land in the cover, not on the top and chip it or something. And then your air filter element. So you want to start in a star pattern or torque sequence if it shows it, and just get everything loose a little bit, and then you can start taking everything all the way out. And take all the pressure off just one point at a time. And we are getting rid of this, so I'm just going to put all this stuff in here so I can box it up later. And depends on your kit. Sometimes you need to reuse certain screws or bolts. So you need to pay attention to that. So this element then has a rubber grommet there that goes in and feeds around. So you could take this, if it was a washable air filter, you could wash it, or if you needed to replace it. And then it's just got these. So these are hooked to your breathers, so any excess oil can come through and get burnt in the motor. If you're just replacing the filter, you want to be careful if you're putting this back in. You need to make sure there's lots of areas that it could get bound up. Make sure it feeds through correctly. Then it even has 2 tabs, so that will go through like that. And then this is where it would go. And if you're putting it on, you need to make sure everything goes in correctly. Nothing's twisted or pinched, because then it won't allow your motor to breathe. We'll set that stuff aside. Then your breather bolts. Those are 7/16. Get them both loose. And I believe for this kit, we do need to reuse the breather bolts. So we'll set these close by. And once you get that, so this pops off. It's just your backing plate. You're going to put a new backing plate on. Some kits have you remove this support. Some don't. This one showed right there, remove. It's going to tell you in step 3 after removing the OEM to remove the fuel tank. Don't need to do that anymore with these. You get access to those screws. They used to be some of the later model touring and stuff behind and facing up, so it's really hard to get to them. So they had to remove the tank to avoid damage. Don't need to do that, so we'll skip that step. And when it fits, I think I use a metric 5 millimeter. And there is, so your front attached there, I'll flip that zip tie. Flip that grip. And again, loosen. And that'll come out. So this is just loose, that's held in the back. So you want to be careful not to put any weight on that. You don't want to add any stress to the back part of the throttle. And everything's off. And clean the inside. If you have a carburetor cleaner, fluid or something, throttle body cleaner, make sure it's sensor safe. You don't want to spray anything in here, it's not sensor safe. You have a lot of sensors. I believe it could even go in through, get burnt, or it doesn't get burnt, it'll come out the exhaust. And your O2 sensors get damaged. Make sure your surfaces are clean. And that's the same, so we are going to reuse these. Good idea to clean them up if you have a brush or something. I have a wire wheel, so I use that. If anybody has any questions while all this is going on, you can just comment below, and we will try to address any comment. Get those cleaned up, check your surfaces. And again, every kit's a little different. This backing plate, some of them will have an O-ring or square O-ring. That'll go to mate with the breathers. This one does not. It does have one for the mating surface there. So always put that on the back plate. I like to just kind of orient it first. Get a line so I know how it's going to go. It is sticky on the back side. So you can use either just an alcohol prep pad, or we use a lot of it, so we have a mixture made up of alcohol and water. Distilled water. Clean that, let that dry a little bit. Make sure this surface is nice and clean, where there's no air gap. That's good. And just align that, press it on, give that a second to sit. It does call for blue Loctite on the breather bolts. Just put a little bit on there, it doesn't take much. Then if you need, it kind of shows you how everything lays out together. So then we will start breather bolt. And when we're going together, we're just going to leave everything loose, kind of finger tight at this point. Make sure everything goes together nice. You don't want to force anything. Make sure you don't pinch that throttle body while you're in the back. Again, just kind of finger tight enough so it's holding and not going to fall on you. Nah, that's enough. Tight screw. We got, as you can see, there's a few different sets of screws there. These are the stock ones. So the 3 longer ones will thread through here and then into the throttle body. You can just kind of look in, need a flashlight. Just make sure everything's kind of lined up, which it should be as long as you haven't moved anything. Pretty good. So these ones are 5/32. Allen well. So again, we're just loose. So it's threaded on the back plate, and then there's a little gap, and then it's threaded into it. So threading. Then it'll probably feel a little loose, and then it'll bite on the top. So again, we'll leave them loose. We'll make sure all 3 go in nice and easy. Sometimes you'll get a real resistance if you don't get that back seal that you stuck on there. The gasket, if that's not quite right, it might push a little bit. I like to just hold it up and tight, make sure everything's centered. And again, just hand tight. I'll snug these 3. And then we'll go to the breather bolt. And alternate. And this even gives you the torque spec for all these in the direction. So it has your breather bolts at 22 to 24 foot-pounds. And then the air cleaner screws at 55 to 60 inch-pounds. We'll start with the breather. I kind of go in the middle, brand new motor, so you kind of want to stay towards the low end of that gap. So I'm right in the middle. It says 22 to, where'd we go? Or sorry, 55, no, yeah. Up here, sorry. 22 to 24 foot-pounds. So I think I'm at 23 foot-pounds. A little at a time. Click. I got that. Then the breather's at 55 to 60 inch-pounds. So I have an inch-pound torque wrench. And I'm at 57, so right in the middle. And again, just kind of go around as you start feeling. These small inch-pounds, you got to be careful because you're kind of hard to feel sometimes. They click and definitely doesn't make the audible noise. Get all those there. And then we add the breather hoses. So as you can see, these are different lengths. And it'll show you what they have a little hook here and a notch that goes there. So if you try to put the wrong one in, it's not going to reach where it needs to be. That's on there. That made it in there nice. That goes right in. This one comes just above. Make sure you got all that so it's not flopping around and won't fall out on you. And those will help hold the element as well. So our element, which is cleanable, and then oil. Oiled element. Good thing about these, so they designed to be cleaned, especially here in Vermont. A lot of people live on dirt roads, which will clog them up a lot faster. You can clean these at intervals, even at home. You get a little kit for it. Soap and water, clean them up, let them dry good, and re-oil them. Just gonna set it up, mate. Sure all my holes line up good. Make that next goes on with the cover. And then these do come black and chrome. You can get either one. Yeah. Again, these are still 5/32 Allens. Hold it up there. And when you're coming off, so once you get this on, if you're next time you go to clean it or get it off, be cautious that when you take these two screws out, that these are together so that you don't have anything fall. I just read it, put the Harley symbol up. Okay. Start your screws.
What's a Newton pound?
Hmm?
Someone asked equivalent in Newton pounds?
Yep. So, let me just get this tight so it doesn't fall on me. So your breather bolts for Newton are going to be 29.8, 32.5.
Mandy, you've got Cindy on line 1. Mandy, Cindy on line 1.
And then for your breather screws, 6.2 to 6.8 Newton meters. And these are the same torque as that. What's that? 57. And then, depending on what you had for a cover, there is the screw hole in the middle of the filter. We're not using that one. You got the nice Screaming Eagle. It's going to cover all that up. And this is 8 Allen. These have a good bit of Loctite on that. So with all the Loctite on these, make sure you get them nice and straight when you're going in so that you don't cross thread them. Snug those up. Wipe everything down. Everything's still plugged in. And this one, so we did a full stage one. I put an air cleaner, as you see. We have an exhaust, a slip-on on this, so we are going to tune this one. So we'll go on the dyno. Screaming Eagle tuner. We'll put a stage 1 download in it for his configuration. And we'll run it on the dyno so that it dials the bike in to that configuration. Again, make sure everything's tight. Make sure you don't have anything left over. We'll package up the stock air cleaner, give that back to